Welcome back to another episode of Orlando Weekly Recap, where I'm going to be recapping what happened in Orlando over the past week. And we're starting with Horizon West, which I love. Grown to love this area a lot more. More shops, more homes, just more businesses, more colleges coming. And so that's what we're going to start with today. We're talking about the Orlando College of Osteopathic Medicine. We've got some updated renderings and what it will look like. We actually know the architect, and he's actually worked on 4 out of the 38 osteopathic colleges all across the entire USA. And so it's really cool that he is now lending his talents to the Horizon West College, and it's pretty sick, if I may say so myself. It has this kind of glass cube design, as you'll see. I'll pop it up right now. Wayne, the architect, also talked about how he wants to kind of prioritize connectivity between the students, staff, and faculty, kind of making it a more interactive space, which I think is really cool. I think this coming to the Horizon West area is cool in and of itself. There isn't like every area in Orlando sort of has its own thing. So Lake Nona, Medical City, Tech Mecca of Orlando, Claremont, for example, has this sort of huge construction industry. I think Horizon West is kind of left undefined in that aspect. And so it's great to see the medical industry expand in Orlando, but even more so for Horizon West. Now, the same development team is also going to be building out a 360 unit market rate apartment community right next to the school property. And the whole kind of point behind this is that they're saying if, students are going to be coming, a lot of them, they actually said, are going to be coming from overseas. And so if they don't want to buy a house right away, then they would have that apartment to rent, even though it won't be exclusively for those students. So got more apartments. There's a lot of apartments kind of popping up in Orlando, but especially in Horizon West. And it's also really important to note that they said that they have an extra space set aside beside the school and the apartment for a 20-acre medical campus, which I think would be amazing for this area, really spurring growth on top of growth that Horizon West is already experiencing. 34787 actually had the most amount of homes sold in Q2 and Q3 of any zip code in Orlando, which is really speaking to that growth factor. There's a lot of people moving to Winter Garden Horizon West. Besides from Lake Nona, a lot of people who reach out to me are looking to move to Horizon West, which will probably only grow even more as I make more content about it. So it's really a hot area, good for a lot of reasons. Location, you talk about the schools, you talk about the amenities, really checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. And so it's going to be really cool to see this college get built up. A lot of synergies hopefully going to be created between, training the professionals and having the hospital nearby and more medical services coming in. And hopefully Horizon West will continue to flourish in that manner. Super cool to see. Let's get on to story number 2. So story number 2 is coming out of Lake Nona, the tech mecca of Orlando. And guess what? They're bringing in tech jobs. Who would have guessed? And so we have this company is based out of Kansas. They're actually one that made the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing private companies. So the company is called Playfair Data. They're a visual analytics firm, and essentially what they do is they kind of break down complex data into kind of visual interfaces so companies can better understand the metrics from their business and improve them. They've worked with startups, and they've also worked with Fortune 500 companies. So this is a big company moving to this area. Really glad to have them. They're leasing out a 1,640 square foot space in the new Class A office building that's about 68,000 square feet. The building recently got a CO, its certificate of occupancy, and so they're looking to move in by that early 2023 mark. You also have Donata, the air and travel services company based out of Dubai, taking over the entire top floor, and actually they secured naming rights for the building. Interestingly enough, the CEO of Playfair Data is actually a UCF alum, and he was saying that there's incredible talent in the tech space in Orlando. This area of the country, he said, was like very under-recognized for that. And so the tech industry here is continually growing, which is really cool to see. I'm actually working on interviewing a company that has been leading the way in certain things kind of under the radar. So hopefully I'm able to do that and that gets out to you guys. But what do you think of tech companies and kind of just companies in general? We got the college back in Horizon West and some really other cool things coming to the Orlando area, kind of shifting the narrative away from just being the tourism capital of the world, which it might still be, but it's like, okay, we have that, and then we also have this and this and this and this, which entices a lot of different people to actually move to Orlando, overall just kind of making it a better place to live. So let me know what your thoughts are. I think it's cool, but what about you? So So the Orlando Business Journal recently put out an article talking about how much locals can afford in today's current housing market. They went through the median household income for each county recorded by the US Census Bureau, and they also dug into interest rates, which they quoted at 6.3%, but right now it's closer to 7%, and they kind of compared that to back when rates were around 2.86, 2.9%. And the foundings were very interesting. And so for Lake County, the number of affordable homes last year was 250. Fast forward to this year, it's 90, coming from a max affordability price of 281 all the way down to 204. In Orange County, the number went from 892 in terms of the number of affordable homes all the way down to 296 this year. Prices in terms of maximum affordability price was 383, coming all the way down to 272. That's over $100,000 in difference. And that trend really continues over into the other counties. Osceola County went from 79 all the way down to 18, from 272 for a maximum affordability price to 202. And so things are getting way more unaffordable for our locals here. I work with a lot of reload buyers, so they're like out of state. My inbound, or not inbound, how do you say that? Inland traffic, I don't know, native traffic from people moving in and around Orlando has sort of picked up a bit since this whole shift. But a lot of the times it was people reaching out from, California, DC, New York, and that kind of thing. And so for them, yes, it's a bit more affordable, but for the locals here where the wages hasn't necessarily caught up to what prices are today, which is why you see me talk about these tech jobs and these different companies moving in. The hope is to have more and more of these high-paying companies come into Orlando so they can up the game, up the opportunities for people to enjoy living, working, and playing and earning more while staying in Orlando, which is going to be super cool. But right now, yes, affordability is a problem for locals. And in terms of the housing market, in case you were wondering about jumping in or jumping out, your biggest opportunity right now, I would say, is you're not competing. That is by far what I've found working with buyers and sellers across the board at this point. At any price point, there's just not a lot of people in the market, which gives you an opportunity to come in, negotiate for credits, negotiate for a 2-1 buy down, get lower on the price. There is tons of opportunities for buyers right now. Sellers can still sell and net a lot of money, but you're just not gonna maybe get as much as you would in the 6 months ago, which is okay, and you sort of have to learn to be okay with that. But for the buyers out there, you can't get the good of both. You can't get perfectly low interest rates and low prices and no competition. If that's going to be the case, we're going to revert back to 2020 when it was a mad frenzy. And so this is the opportunity for people who did not want to compete, wanted to get something lower, and you're planning on living in your house, I would say at minimum 3-4 years plus. Otherwise, to me, just being quite frank, it doesn't make sense. But let me know what your thoughts are. And as always, if you're interested in moving to the Orlando area, looking to buy a home here or sell a home in Orlando, looking to net cash out and maybe move on to something greater, I'd love to be your real estate agent in your corner. And so reach out by email, text, or Calendly link, all of which will be in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, found some value from it, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, as I'm always going to be putting out content weekly. If you want to see more content, head over to Instagram, follow me at Orlando with Mario. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. But until then, you stay safe.